All right, y'all. Still Sunday, March the 23rd, and we're talking about my narc friend. I think he has a crush. I'm trying to help him realize it. This is a continuation. We're talking about my friend, my monstrously narcissistic friend, and yes, the term friend is used loosely here. And this is my ongoing cataloging of just the history of our friendship and things that I'm picking out now that I've realized like how deep it goes with him. And I just so the revelation we had at the end of the other video here was I realized, and maybe I'm slow. I might be the last one on the planet to figure this out. But, you know, when people say that they think it's a choice, okay, let me back it up. We argue over parenting styles, naturally, because I'm very open with my children, and this is something that he doesn't believe in. He believes in helicopter, no fun, no games, no, you can do all those things later in life. And, you know, as someone who grew up in steeple peopleness and who was also raised in a no, you can't do what everyone else is doing type lifestyle, while my friend's not religious, it's the same vibe. I've suggested that, you know, he might want to get a little, maybe there's a middle ground somewhere there, because as a kid who went through that, I had a wild phase. And like, you know, if your parents don't help you with that sort of thing, you have to learn it yourself. And it is, so just saying. And he always hates that he gets mad. Remember, narc. So anytime I disagree with something that he does and I can agree to disagree on it, he gets upset because it's not just that. I need to submit myself and agree that his way is the only way to raise children. And the way that I'm raising my children is way too hippie, loosey-goosey. I want to be their friends. I'm like, no, but just because they're not afraid to tell me about themselves, that's what I wanted. Yes, my children aren't afraid to talk to me about things such as who they're attracted to or how they feel about themselves or anything like that. They're not afraid. They know that it's good and that's what I wanted. That is something he does not have with his kid. Okay, so this is something we've talked about before, and he would always pose it as he's too young to think about that now. This kid is in high school, okay? And yeah, he is hitting the point where he wants to have fun and girlfriends, and it's causing a problem for dad because he's like, no, that's not all my sacrifices. And I'm like, I fucking told you, dude. I fucking told you. Mom tapped into the funness, and now, like, he's gonna go crazy because you were too strict. I told you, I tried, but oh well, I don't know what I'm talking about. I know all your opinions are automatically right because you're a male narc. Anyway, so I never really paid attention. I would always jump on him saying it's a choice, and me going, it's not a fucking choice, dude. And it didn't snap until recently that, oh, every time he says that's a choice that they can figure out later, they shouldn't think about that when they're in school, that's something they should think about later on, that he's saying it because that's what he's doing. Like, and that also explains his love of degrees, because every time he gets bored, he thinks that he goes back to school and gets another degree. And so when he talks about making this choice about who you're attracted to, this is something you should do when you're done with school. So now at this point, he's in his 40s and still going back for more graduate degrees to avoid, I'm assuming, making this decision to just be himself instead of fighting it. So yeah, okay, I'm slow to the party of realizing when people say it's a choice, it's because for them, they are choosing to not be themselves instead of just being themselves. And so when they see other people just being themselves, they think of it as a choice, but it's not. It's not. And I don't know how to break this down in him. So, okay, let me tie this in. Back when we first became friends, I asked him if he was attracted to men, and he holds it against me to this day, which is another reason, okay, another point in that aisle. Because if someone asked me 4 or 5, whatever years ago, hey, do you like women? And I was like, no, or yeah, or whatever my answer was, I wouldn't hold it against them later. Like if I was like, no, I wouldn't be mad 5 years later and go, oh my God, I can't believe you asked me that. I can't believe, 5 years ago, you asked me if I was into women. How dare you attack me like that? Like he considers it an attack and an insult. And I was just asking. I wasn't saying it like, you know what I'm saying? So, right. That's another line on the books. Okay. So, we've been friends for years. I've never seen this dude with anyone, okay, male or female. And out of the blue, one day he calls me asking for a favor for some other guy. And I'm like, you're asking me for a favor on behalf of someone else? That's not like you. Who is this guy? Oh, it's his baby mama's new ex-baby daddy. I'm like, really? you're asking a favor for your ex's new ex? Like, what is going on with that? And so he tells me that they've been talking, etc. And I'm like, are you having empathy? Again, he's a narcissist, but he won't admit it or doesn't know it or whatever. But I do. So I like trying to sneak it in there. I know it's a mental chess game for me. I have experience with this. And he's like the worst one I know. So this one has been fascinating for me. Anyway, I'm like, I think you're having empathy because like, that's your favorite, your victim story. She is horrible. You're wonderful. All your decisions are great. She's terrible, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I've never met her. You know the stories. And now he's dealing with her. So you empathize and you're not used to feeling that for anyone. You don't empathize with anybody. And he was like, oh, maybe that is what it is. Maybe I am empathizing. Okay, narc. Total narc, okay? So, a little time goes on, and I find out this dude, he's staying up having conversations with this dude. He's like, oh yeah, we were up talking until 3 a.m. I'm like, you were up until 3 a.m. talking to your baby mama's new ex-baby daddy on the phone. Interesting, sir. Very interesting. All right. And I also need to point out that my friend is very bougie. Like I said, degrees on top of degrees, very elitist, I brought myself up here. And he's one of the few people who actually has brought himself up from nothing, which is why I do respect it. But has that I suffered so everyone should suffer mentality, whereas I have the I suffered so no one else should suffer. And that's where we differ. Okay. So it yes, he's elitist. So what clinched it for me was I heard one of the conversations and I was like, oh, I've never heard that man talk to anyone, including his own son, with the tone and encouragement that he was giving that man. He was, oh, you're amazing. You're a rock star. Your kid is a rock star. You're so amazing. You're this, you're that. I mean, he is just glazing. That donut was dripping, baby. Just dripping, Krispy Kreme. I was like, I had never heard him talk like that to anyone, including his own kid, okay? And I was like, holy shit. And he gets off the phone and he's all aflutter. You know when you've talked to your crush, he's all like, glowing now. I've never seen this man glow. And see, here's the kicker. He had invited me over for a narcissistic feed fight. I knew it. I knew that's what he was doing. But by the time I got there, he was like, I'm in a different mood now. I'm like, yeah, dude, because you fucking just talked to your crush. And now you're all like a Twitter. And now you don't want to fight me. I was like, now I know how to crack it. I just got to get you to realize that you're into your ex's baby daddy. Oh, right. And the elitist part. Right. So here's why this is extra important. This dude does not give compliments to anyone, including other high achievers. He looks up to billionaires and, yes. And you can guess what he supports. Exactly. He's one of those. So if you're not STEM, you're beneath him. If you are not CEO something, you are beneath him. If you are not a doctor, an engineer, you are beneath him. So this dude, the baby daddy, he's like a freelance electrician or something. Nothing wrong with that, but definitely not the type of person that my friend would compliment at all. That is the type of person that my friend would go, and why aren't you an engineer then? Why aren't you a this? Why are you only this? Why are you only that? That's him, okay? And it went from why are you only that to you're amazing. You're amazing. And yeah, you can do more. I'll help you. I'll do whatever I can to help you. You should do this. And he's encouraging this man to, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, y'all know what it's like when you see a friend get happy about someone and they don't realize it yet. Like they're all, ooh, and you're just like, ooh, I see it. And now it suddenly makes sense why you kept saying it's a choice that should be made later after school. And then you keep staying in school. You're in your 40s. You keep going back to school because you don't want to make this choice. Can we make the choice now that you found someone that, tickles your fancy? But see, I don't know how to get him to realize it because he'll just get mad at me. He'll get mad at me if I bring this up again. So I just leave it be, right? Leave it be. But y'all, it's the only time I've seen this dude happy. And like, I feel like if I can at least like push him in that direction, like I would at least feel better for the small bit of friendness that is in there, right? Maybe he'll stop being such an asshole if I could just get him to realize he's into his ex's baby daddy, right?